Hi there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you very much for joining me again today for another card making video. And today we're featuring the Forever Forest bundle. So we've got that stamp set, it's a cling stamp set, okay. So you've got these lovely trees in this set, which are enormous. Sorry, I've got those somewhere else. Let me just grab those for you. Realised I was using them for something else. So it's a really large stamp, this one is. Okay, so the images on the front are not, they're at 90%, so this is a really large stamp. Just pop that back in there. For the front of your cards, so that's going to be really, really cool. But today we're just going to be using a little row of trees. But obviously you can build up lots of dimension and layers between with the different size trees, and you've got this cute little moon and stars, which is really, really cool as well. A little bit of a snow sort of falling kind of thing as well. That's a reasonable size as well to create some backgrounds as well. Okay, so that's that. This is the coordinating dies. So we've got ones that will cut out all the trees. Okay, the one that I'm using is just missing from there. But you've also got all these little standalone dies as well, including a little cluster of stars, something for the moon. So and these are little rocks and clouds and things. So what I have done ahead of time is cut this die to make these little mountains, and this gives kind of some embossing detail to it as well. This isn't the full size of it, so I wonder if that detail will catch. There we go. Okay, so it embosses some of that detail in there as well, which is really, really cool. Okay, so that's already been die cut. So that's the Forever Forest bundle. And I'm also going to use the Joy to You set as well. I've got the Merry Christmas because that fitted with the design that I wanted to make today. There's some really bold sentiments in here which are going to just carry themselves. So there's going to be some more sort of simple stamping cards to come with that. So those will be quick ones for, you know, trying to get ready for the season and you've run out of time and all that kind of stuff, okay? And then the actual background piece here has actually been cut with the largest of the stylish shaped squares. So we're taking the largest one of those and we're going to be using that to create the background on this. Okay, so it's stitched all the way around, but as you will see, it is actually rectangular. So I'm going to show you how I've achieved that. So we're kind of going to remake this card sort of as is, apart from just a couple of little teensy adjustments. So the background has been embossed. So I've already embossed that card layer, so that's ready to go. Using this fern embossing folder. It's a thick one. Do you know? I'm not actually 100% sure if this is still current, but anyway, you can add texture with whatever you like. So just grab something, or you can just skip that altogether and leave it plain. So that's a thick embossing folder that I've used there. I'm sure it's called Fern something or other. So that's already done. And we've got a card base somewhere. Yep, white card base, embossed background. Okay, and we have our little mountains already done, but the mountains just need a little bit of colour put on them. So we're just going to grab some grid paper here and a brush that's had some grey ink on it at some point. But let's just grab Smoky Slate, which is the lightest of our grey inks, and we'll just pop a bit more on there. And I'm just going across the tops, really, just lightly, in circular motions there. You're not going to see much of the bottom, so I'm just going to run over the sort of peaks, if you like. And because you've got those embossed elements, you just get that sort of nice kind of you get that texture coming through as you run that through. Okay, so that's there and that's ready to go as well. Okay, so that was just smoky slate, just to add a little bit of colour to those. So I've done that, and we need a couple of our tree elements. Okay, so I've just got some scraps of white cardstock, and I've got the coordinating die here. So this colour combo was garden green and soft sea foam. Okay, so the lighter colour makes them look a little bit more distant. Okay, it's a bit of a trick of the eye kind of thing. And this time around we're going to use Old Olive as our lighter colour, and I've mounted this on an eye block, which will give us plenty of room to sort of hover and hold that over this strip of cardstock. So we'll just pop that over there and press that down. Okay, that's Old Olive, and then we're going to use Mossy Meadow, which is tints a bit darker. To stamp our second set, and I've put these on these strips of card so we can use the mini cut and emboss. So those come out, hopefully that shows on the camera. They are, these ones are quite a bit darker than the other ones. Okay. And of course we will need to make sure that gets cleaned. Just wipe that quickly just for now. And then the die fits over those really nicely. Just I find the easiest thing is to line up the little trunks and then just make sure the tops are done. So like I say, we can bring in our little mini bus. She, you know, really nice and light and portable. Brilliant for crafting on the go. Just grabbing the plates there. So you always need your base platform, and then I'm going to need my bottom cutting plate, and then a top cutting plate, and we can just roll that through. It's beautiful. Okay, and that's just going to pop right out of there. Just caught on that little snuggly bit there, and then we can repeat that. So just line up those tree trunks. Okay, and we're going to actually probably snip a couple of these apart as well, so you don't have to use it as a full row. You can kind of cut into it as well. Ooh, just sent my ribbons flying. Okay, do I need that again? Don't think I do. Oh, actually, yeah, I will need it again, but not just right now, this minute. So I'll put that to one side just for a second. And there's our two sets of trees done. There. Okay, so these guys then, I've already die cut one of these stitched squares, and they're going to kind of go onto this this square to frame it up, but I want some sky on there. So what I'm going to do is just grab that scrap again and just pop on some blue ink, and again this is just the residual ink from whatever I did last time. And it doesn't have to be perfect, we just want to take away that white. Now you could go darker and make it look more like a night scene if you wanted to. deliberately trying to put a little bit of shade, sort of skip a bit so that it looks a little bit more natural. And then we're going to use our mounting piece first and line that up with the bottom of this little piece here. Okay, and do that with loads of different things, but you know that I like my tape runner for this. And I'm not going all the way to the edge either, simply because I want to be able to just snip away the excess, which is easier. Just got a little bit of playroom. Just going to grab my snips and we'll just cut away that excess just there. Like so. Like so. Okay, so that's our mountings in place. Okay, and then we want to pop it in our distant trees, if you like. Yeah, so I'm just thinking about whether I wanted to do those first or not. That's fine. So I'm going to snip these apart here, because the front row is going to be identical, and it can look a bit odd if they're absolutely identical on both sides. So I've snipped those apart so that I can actually pop these in and about in a different position. All right, okay. So reckoning we can pop that in maybe over there. Okay, and again we can cut off some excess, maybe a bit further in, so I've got that tree trunk. Whoops a daisy. So just a little tad of adhesive there, and just slot that in. Press that down. And then these guys can go on the other side. Just a bit of tape runner. And we'll pop those in there. Now some of this untidiness is going to get covered up by the trees in the front, so I'm not going to worry too much about all that. And again we can cut off the excess, because we want a nice clean edge on this bit. Right to the end there. Okay, so that's our little piece so far. Okay, and now that we know where all that's going, we can probably just pop a little bit behind there to stick that down. So he's brown on these mountings, but I think the grey kind of is a little bit more natural looking, if you know what I mean. And then these little this tree line is going to pop it in on the front here. And I'm just using little dabs of glue there, little dabs of tape. It's quite strong stuff, so you've got some wiggle room. So I want this to make sure that there's no gaps. So at the moment there's a gap just there, but I don't want that gap to show. So I'm just positioning them at the front, kind of hanging off each end. I'm not going to trim these down to size, but I want it to cover the bottom. Okay. Now that mounting's ended up a little bit covered up, but you know, is what it is. A bit more planning ahead, probably would have just made sure that that was sort of peeking out a little bit more, which is how that one's positioned. Okay, so that makes that sort of top portion of our topper here. So it's sort of this bit, almost identical. Look at that. Okay. And now we've got to work out what we're going to do with the bottom here. So for the bottom, we've got some heat embossing going on. Okay, so sort of warn you now that the heat gun's going to come out. So if you want to be prepared for that, so that it doesn't deafen you when I switch it on. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab just a scrap of card, just some basic white cardstock this is. Okay, just popping these scissors away. And I've got, we will be cutting it with the square die, but we only want the bottom portion. Okay, but so what we'll do is we'll stamp this towards the bottom and heat emboss it, and then line up the die afterwards. Okay, so we need all our heat embossing paraphernalia then. So I'm going to use the this is the embossing additions, I think they call it, kit. You don't get the ink pad, but you get the brush, the tweezers, a little Stampin' Buddy powder bag there, and this lovely tray to catch all the powder. And I'm going to be using the gold powder. Now I've had this forever because it's still got the blue branding on it. Okay, we've gone through, it used to be blue and then it was green, and now I think it's just, oh yeah, it is, it's just this one's a newer one, which is black, or black, just black and white. So I've had that powder for eons. But hey, right, so we're just going to pop some of this powder on here and wipe it off. Just pop that back to one side. I'm just going to flick off that excess powder. Then we're going to use this Versamark ink, which is a clear kind of sticky ink, slow drying ink. Okay, and you want to make sure that's well inked up, and you'll just see that it's glistening in the light. And like I say, we're going to pop this towards the bottom of this piece of cardstock, and I'm hoping that I got that the right way up. And then you may or may not be able to see that there is some on there, but all will be revealed when we pop our powder on. So we'll just sprinkle that over the top, give it a good sharp flick, and then if there are any little residue bits, this is where this little brush comes in. So there's a little bit that's ended up in the way there, and the T has just missed a bit there. I think that might be just poor stamping on my part, but hey ho. So we'll just wipe away this little bit on the side there. Just caught the C, so I'm just redoing that. I don't think that would have ended up on the card anyway. So at the moment it's a really horrible dull kind of colour. Okay, and then this tool means we can just tap that powder back into the pot, and it minimises the mess. I don't think it eliminates it really, it minimises it. Okay, and then any excess powder that's ended up stuck in there or whatever, just use your little brush and you can get that funneled away into the bin. So now we're going to heat this up. Okay, so I'll try and keep it in shot, but just cover your ears because this gun will be a bit loud. Just going to heat that from the back now. Realised I might need my tweezers, it's a smaller piece of cardstock. Now it's starting to turn. Just make sure we've got it all. So that's going to be really, really hot until it's cooled down, obviously. Okay. And the paper does warp a little bit, but while it's warm, don't rub over the top because the powder melts. So while it's still kind of semi-molten, if you rub over it or get anything on it, you're gonna you could potentially ruin the effect. So we're now going to position the die over the top of this. Like so. If you think you need it on both sides because the paper's gone a bit wibbly wobbly, then we can do that. I'm just wondering if this will go through on my mini. Oh, it might. Let's do that. So ideally you want the anything with a straight edge like a square or whatever to go in corner first. Don't really want it to go in, so I'm just going to tilt that as much as it will tolerate. Only a little. It's only a little, but it will make all the difference. And then we'll run that through. There we go. So that can go away now. Okay, lift that off there. Just peel it gently so you don't tear it. And then this is going to go behind our other panel, but at the moment it overlaps. Okay, so what you want to do is cut that down. So I want to take off, what's that, about 1/2 inch, something like that, and so that it's now when I made my sample 2 inches was about right. Let's make it just a hair longer than that. Okay, and then that should go butt up right next to that. You'll be able to line it up and it will all be hopefully reasonably straight. Okay, so we'll just pop some, you can use your glue, adhesive, whatever you want, but if we glue this from the back we'll be able to see that it's just nice and lined up with that other square there. And voila. Okay, so just need to put everything together now. Now we've got this embossed section, so because it's embossed, wet glue is going to be better for this. The tape runners can catch on the raised surface and tear it, so I do use wet glue for that. So we'll just press that into place. Don't forget to give it a sharp crease to make sure it stands nicely. And then likewise we'll just use some wet glue on the back of this. We're not going to pop it up, we're just going to leave it as it is. Don't need much of this this stuff. It's really strong. And then we can line that up, something like straight, left, right, top, bottom. So just give yourself a little bit of wriggle room. That's another advantage of using the wet glue, if you can get used to it. That's sort of just sticking up just a little bit. So because of the warping on the heat embossing. So what I do is I stick some acrylic blocks onto that, which helps things dry and flatten out a little bit. Obviously for the purposes of now, we'll leave that, and I'll do that afterwards when I've said ta-ra. Okay, so I've kept this very simple, very clean look to this. Okay, I think the mountains kind of like disappeared a little bit, so maybe I should have used some lighter colours to make that pop a little bit, because I think that this one kind of has a bit more impact because it's got the brighter colours and the trees are more defined in terms of their colour. So it's all sort of a bit of experimentation on my part, but I've done that for you, so you know, mix and match whatever you like. I think this colour combo with some grey mountains would be nice. Okay, so that's it from me today. Hope you've enjoyed that. It's given you an idea anyway of what you can do and maybe not to do. I hope you're staying safe out there and keeping well. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.